What's your go-to pie?
I like coconut cream pie.
Are you a crazy person? Oh my, that's un-American.
No.
If apple pie was in front of me and that's what Dino Babers made me to eat, I would eat it. I wouldn't be rude. It's not my first choice.
What about a lemon meringue?
That's what Dino makes.
Okay, we had to bring in the pie expert, Syracuse coach Dino Babers, to settle this discussion once and for all. And I'm going to give a little backstory. Dino, when we spoke in the fall after the 6-0 start, and you told me the offense was a little bit like pie, we had a discussion about pie, and you're a pie baker. I don't like apple pie, Dino. So let's start with this. What is your specialty when it comes to baking pie, and how do you feel about apple pie?
Well, first of all, the specialty is lemon meringue pie, okay? I'm a big lemon guy, that meringue with the egg white and the sugar, okay? If you get the right crust, it really makes the pie lemon meringue pie. Now, that being said, you've got to like apple pie. If you can't eat lemon meringue pie, apple pie is the go-to. And don't tell me about chocolate and strawberry or Rocky Road ice cream going on top. It's got to be USA American vanilla ice cream on top of the apple pie.
Thank you, Dino. Thank you. A voice of reason among the utter chaos that is listening to Andrea talk about pie. And by the way, props on meringue, because that is not easy. I've tried that before. It takes a very delicate touch. So, look, I want to preface all of this by saying we're going to squeeze in at least one football question, as this is technically a football show. The rest of this we're going to throw away, and we're just going to discuss things as frivolous as pie. But let me start by asking you a football question. You've got a new coordinator on both sides of the ball. With Jason Beck, I feel like you're kind of extending what you were doing last season. Good hire. Tell me about Rocky Long and what went into that hire and bringing him in and what he brings to the defense. Because obviously, guy who has seen and done a lot in the college game.
You know, I kind of see it exactly, David, what you just said. It's extending exactly what we just did, but higher. I mean, I think the words you just used to describe Jason Beck, and Robert and I did a great job for us, and now it's Jason Beck's turn up at the bat. But I see the same thing on defense. Tony White did a fabulous job for us, but he learned from Rocky Long, and now we get an opportunity to get even better. So I look at it as exactly the way you stated it earlier on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, on the offensive side of the ball, with Jason Beck obviously working very closely with Garrett Schrader a year ago, was that a key factor in your decision to promote him after Robert and I decided to go to NC State?
You know, one of the things is obviously I'm trying. Schrader has had so many different quarterback coaches, and over the years, if you look at his career, he hasn't had the stability that he really needs to be the passer that we want him to become. So that had something to do with it. The other part of it is I really liked what Virginia had done on offense. I really liked Robert and I's angle on things, and Jason Beck had been with him from day one, and I really felt like he was ready. This was not his first opportunity. He's been a coordinator before, but I think with him coming in and where the staff is from a maturity standpoint and everybody knowing the offense, this will be the second year for everybody in the offense. I think it's a little bit easier for him to step into this situation, maybe more so than going somewhere else and teaching everybody the offense brand new.
So I want to ask you, Dino, and you're not the only coach who's had to deal with this, and I've talked to plenty of other folks who are sort of hand-wringing in the current situation. But you had 3 guys leave for other Power 5 schools in the transfer portal. You had a bunch of coaches leave for other Power 5 jobs. You've got a handful of guys that are probably going to get drafted that leave early. This, to me, tells me Dino Babers has done a tremendous job of talent evaluation and development. Retention is an issue, and this is an issue not just at Syracuse, but at plenty of schools who want to thrive off of developing talent. How does Syracuse and other schools that follow that model survive in this day and age with the portal and NIL and everything that's happening budget-wise?
You know, it's interesting, and that's going to be the question that needs to be answered in the months and the years to come. But one thing that I take a lot of pride in is is helping people along with their careers. I want to hire young coaches or hire older coaches that are really, really good. And if they're young, I want to develop them. If they're older, I want them to do what they've done, because I've seen them do it for a long period of time. That's why I'm comfortably, bringing them into the building based off of what I've seen on tape, because it always comes down to what you put on tape. That is your resume, more so than what shows up on the paper and with the ink. And then when you flip that around, same thing with players. We want to bring in the best players that we can. Sometimes based off of that, we may have to take a player with 1 or 2 deficiencies, and then it's our job as coaches to develop those deficiencies and turn them into a complete player. And obviously, based off of things that have happened with NIL around here, that people have noticed what we've been doing with our players, because they're really interested in acquiring them, after we train them and we give them the experience.
But does all of that make things more difficult for you, Dino, to put together your team and your coaching staff year after year?
Yeah, it sure does. But the difficult is what makes it fun and which makes it unique. One of the things that I've always tried to do is when you lose something, you try to learn from it and then you try to get better. And what I mean by that is, if you lose a running back coach, how can you find a running back coach that's equal or better? If you lose a coordinator, how can you find a person that's equal or better? You're always trying to improve with this movement, or at least stay status quo and not take a step backwards.
All right, well, we've talked about your coaching style and ability and talent development, Dino. I want to ask you very specifically about a huge moment that happened about a month and a half ago. Your grandson out on the court during a Syracuse basketball game for a baby race. Now, I feel like you had it. You had him so close to a win, but it didn't come through at the end. I want to see if you can take us through this.
Well, first of all, he did win, so I don't know what tape you got. I hope you got the right baby.
All right.
My grandson won the race.
I'm getting bad information. I blame Andrea for this. Oh, look, but see, here it is. This is the key right here. The baby bottle dangling carrot, so to speak.
Well, there you go. So I don't have a visual of this, so I'm going to have to do this off of memory in front of me. But the baby race started, and my grandson had an infatuation with the young lady to my right, who I think was, maybe 1 or 2 months younger than him. And I had to go, hey, stay focused, stay locked in. Like, okay, she's 7 months, I get it, you're 9. Okay, we've got a job to do. And so he got a little sidetracked, and I had to kind of line him back up to get the job done. And I think he was being bribed by his favorite treat, a thing of Cheerios that my daughter was banging on the floor at half point. But once he saw those Cheerios, all young football players like to eat, he got motivated for that food, and he did a nice job bringing it home at the end.
All right, Dino, tougher coaching job in the baby race or with your 18 to 22-year-old players?
Oh, it's the baby race. It is the baby race. Because that's my daughter. My daughter's sitting there looking, I can't, it's not, I can't, the only way I can win is if we win the race. I mean, I'm starting him off. It's my fault if he doesn't finish. I had to do my job. She did her job. We were a good team. We've been raised the right way. And definitely the tougher job was the baby race. And then you got to understand, it's a hometown fan. We got all the fans looking at me and, Coach, what are you doing? And you put your grandson in the race, and nobody's going to the bathroom. I thought they'd all go up and go to the bathroom, but no, everybody, the home crowd all stayed and wanted to see the race. So there was a lot of pressure on me.
So I can't, I'm not a X's and O's guy, Dino, so take this with a grain of salt. But what I suggest is you put your daughter in the back of the end zone during every drive this year with a thing of Cheerios and just shake them, and I feel like you'll score on every drive now. That's just my takeaway here from this.
Maybe we change the Cheerios to a steak or an NIL letter or something to that effect. Maybe we will get in every single time.
Some dinosaur barbecue at the very least. Well, let me ask you this, because this is the most important topic. Who will win the Oscar for Best Picture, and why is it Top Gun Maverick?
Wow, is that a Freudian slip right there? You're trying to, first of all, Top Gun Maverick, for it to win, it would be the first time of a picture of that type winning. But I do think that if you're talking about this part 1 and part 2, part 1 was probably too early to ever win something like that. Part 2, with the Miramar shots, Top Gun, San Diego, the whole story plot that maybe tied into some things that really happened nationally and globally for real. I think that it's got a real chance. And when you really think about how that movie was shot, and I guess that I heard through the grapevine that Tom Cruise was doing some motivational speaking to the crew to make sure that they crossed every T and dotted every I and did everything right, or else I think they may have a shot, and you're definitely going to have a shot. I don't know who the other nominees are for Best Movie, but I know that Top Gun's one of them.
Well, I'm just glad I saw one of the movies that was nominated for Best Picture, and it was Top Gun, so that's getting my vote. All right, Dino, we appreciate you stopping by In Play, and maybe you can be a motivational speaker for us to get us hyped up the next time we do the show.
Well, I tell you what, it's always a pleasure, AD, after death, AD, Andrea, David. It's always a pleasure anytime on you guys' show, because you guys, this is the type of show that launches careers. So if mine haven't been launched yet, I know after this I'm going to be good to go.
The in-play bump, I'm looking forward to it. Syracuse, 15-0 season coming up, as best I can tell from this.
And remember, all said and done, that's apple pie with vanilla ice cream, double A, apple pie, vanilla ice cream. Stop it, just fall in line, follow orders, apple pie, vanilla ice cream.
Beautiful. Thanks, Dino.
Thank you, guys. Have a blessed
Dino.
day.
You're the best.
All righty.
You're the best.
Bye-bye.